2, flourishing in the garden. So this week we're focusing on the sacral chakra and also related to the water element. So this space is really tapping into our creativity. Again, that water element, the flow, and you can also think of connecting it to flow state as well. So starting for this week, we'll work through 2 different posture flows. So one of them is going to be cat-cow, and the other is going to be sun A, with a couple little variations that we'll throw in to really embrace this water element. So to start, we can find our way to tabletop or all fours. So you can find that space here. We just want to make sure that as we're cueing this, we talk through having our shoulders over our wrists. We want to keep that nice alignment and have just a gentle bend in the elbows. So a lot of times people will tend to try to lock their elbows out and really press through the joint. We want to take that pressure off the joint, maybe encourage a slight bend here just to really feel into the joint and to engage those muscles. So from there, again, knees will fall under the hips. The toes, we can have the toes either pressing in here or the tops of the feet can rest flat. I'm going to have my toes up because I'm kind of on a rock here. So from here, we can start to move through this cat-cow. So we'll start to inhale, we'll bring the head and the tailbone up towards the sky. We'll exhale, round through the spine, tuck the chin, and we'll bring it back. We can start to inhale to lift it up to that cat. So again, you'll notice as I come into this posture, I even have a little bit more of a bend in my elbows just to give space through the chest here. So we'll inhale, take the gaze up. We'll exhale, round through the spine, pressing back. And you can cue this just for participants to move with their own breath. So really finding their own rhythm here with the movement and their breath. So another option as we're in this space, if you'd like to take another movement of the spine, we can take similar to this cat-cow, but we'll take it side to side. So we can bring one ear towards a hip or shoulder to a hip, and then we'll take it the other direction. So again, shoulder towards the hip on this other side. We can take that a few times. So the intention here is as we're coming into the side bend, we're opening up through the ribs on the opposite side that we're bending from. So just continuing here for a few breaths. And so that is our cat-cow with that other variation to have a side bend as well. So as you're cueing those, again, using that permissive languaging, allowing participants to feel into their body, noticing, again, where the shoulders are in relation to the wrists, noticing our joints, and if we can engage the muscles instead of blocking out into our bones there and joints. So, yeah, cat-cow. So we'll move into our next flow here. So we'll take a sun salutation A, and for this there's about maybe 6 to 7 different maybe static postures we might see throughout the flow. So as you're moving here, again, allowing participants to tap into their own breath. So I'll cue it as we move, but each movement of the sun salutation A, we will tie in a breath cue with it. So we can start from standing. And so from here, we'll come to our mountain pose. So in your mountain, to cue this, we'll have the feet fall right under the hips. So this distance is going to be a little bit different for everyone because we all have different sized hips here. So you can cue, again, feet can fall right under the hips. And to find your mountain, again, this is very relative for each person. So maybe cue rocking forward and back, allowing students to feel the four corners of their feet. And then from there, noticing hips, maybe noticing the tailbone here, and we want to bring the spine to neutral. So what neutral is going to look like, well, it might look different for everyone, but how we can engage that and cue that is to maybe take some gentle rocking motions. You'll see I have a little bend in my knees, so we can take those gentle rocking motions. And neutral will be where the pelvis is just gently tucked and that there's an engagement in the lower abdominals here. So that is when our spine is neutral. Find that. The arms, we can maybe shake out the arms and the shoulders, release the shoulders a little bit here to find our mountain. And so for me, I like to have my hands facing forward, the pinkies just gently tucking in. Some people like to have them resting in towards the thighs. Really whatever works for you. As you start to bring the palms to face forward, that's going to externally rotate the shoulders and then open the chest with that movement. So you can always do that. So now we'll work through our sun salutation now. So as we're moving, we'll move through a couple different postures. But the most important thing here is to move with the breath. So I'll cue inhale and exhale for the movements of each posture. And again, as we're moving, just encouraging our students to tap into their breath here. So we'll start in our mountain pose. So for mountain pose, we want to have the feet fall right under the hips here. And again, our hips are relative to each person, so I like to use that cue. Our feet will line up with the hips. And then from here, the toes can point forward. Maybe finding a little bit of a rock forward and back just to feel the four corners of the feet. And then from here, we'll move up to the pelvis. So just noticing how the pelvis is oriented here. So we can cue some pelvic tilts, and I'll encourage you to bend your knees. You can start to gently tuck the pelvis forward and back to find neutral. So neutral is going to be that space where the tailbone might just be gently tucked to create that engagement of the lower abdominals here. So that's what we're working towards, is to create a nice healthy posture for the body to be in here so that we can move safely and protect ourselves. So from there, the palms can either face forward. Now that's going to externally rotate the shoulders and help to open up the chest. Or the palms can face in towards the thigh, really either or. So maybe for a little bit more grounding, we might rest the hands on the thighs. Maybe for a little bit more opening, we'll have the hands face forward. So from here, we'll come to our mountain pose. We'll inhale to reach the arms up. And so options here, even in reaching the arms up. You can reach them up and out. You can also reach the arms forward. So two different movements of the shoulder. Options for you to choose. Personally, for me, I have a lot of tightness in my shoulders and a couple different things going on there. So I do like to get that full range of motion coming to the sides. And then from here, we'll exhale, we'll fold forward. Again, encouraging a bend in the knee, but just to warm up the hamstrings. So fold forward. Inhale to halfway lift. So our halfway lift will have a flat back here. So we'll start to draw the shoulders up and back. Retract the shoulder blades. And then we'll exhale and fold forward. Inhale to reach it up. Then we'll exhale, bring hands to heart center. So that's the first part of this Sunday. I want to kind of break it down. We'll work through that one more time, just this first part before we step it back. So we'll come to our mountain pose. We'll inhale to reach it up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, the gaze can start to come up, drawing the shoulder blades together. We'll exhale to fold it forward. You can round through the spine. We'll press through the feet to lift it up. Inhale, reach it up. And then exhale, we'll move back in our mountain pose. So that's the first part of our Sunday. So just working through that inhale to reach up, exhale to fold, finding our halfway lift, which is going to prep us for coming to the ground. And then exhaling back into the fold and lifting up. So now we'll work through the whole sun A. So the other part of it is going to incorporate stepping back into a plank and into our down dog, and then coming back up to the top. So let's flow through. Come to our mountain pose. We'll ground to the feet. We'll inhale to reach it up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze comes forward. Exhale, plant the hands. We'll step it back for a high plank, high push-up position. So from here, working to engage, again, the lower abdominals. You can gently tuck the tailbone here. Another option or variation is to drop the knees. So we can take that as well. We'll lower down. Again, or if you want to keep it lifted, we'll lower down. And you can come all the way down to the ground if you'd like and take a sphinx. So that's where we press up, the forearms are on the earth. Or we can press the hands back towards the tops of the ribs and lift up for our up dog. And then from here we can lower it back down. We'll press through our tabletop, send the hips up for a downward facing dog. And so once you come to your down dog, a lot of options here. We can start to walk the knees out. We can come up onto the toes. But essentially our down dog, if we come to our high plank and press up without moving the hands or our feet, that's a good kind of trick to find the length of your down dog. Now of course we can adjust where the hands and feet are once we're there if we need to, but that's just a good little trick you can use. We'll take a couple breaths in our downward facing dog. And then we'll step it up to the hands. Stay folded. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to reach it up. And then exhale, hands will sink to heart center. So that's our sun salutation A with the flow. I do want to offer one more variation here. It's a fun little hand variation that we can take to incorporate this watery aspect to our flow. And again, how we can incorporate the water aspect throughout our poses and practice is to incorporate that flow. So with the earth, we were stable, we were moving slowly. Water likes to move. So it's a little bit more flowy, it's a little bit lighter than that earth element. So maybe tapping into that here. But let's come into it. We'll find our mountain pose. And let's inhale to reach it up. Now for this arm variation, we'll clasp the fingers here. Probably can stand to face you guys through this. We'll clasp the fingers and we're going to round down and kind of release the arms forward as we come down. So again, clasping the fingers here and then kind of we'll bring it in towards ourselves and release it down. So taking that arm variation if you'd like, let's flow through the sun A one more time. So inhale to reach it up, we can clasp the hands, we'll kind of roll it forward, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, high plank, high push-up position. We'll lower it down to the ground. Inhale to press it up, upward facing. We'll exhale to lower back down. We'll press up through our tabletop and then come to downward facing dog. Just taking a couple breaths here. And then we'll step the feet up to the hands, step, step, and I don't know if you noticed, but I did step with the opposite foot. We want to make sure that we are hitting each side as we're moving. We'll inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold. Inhale to reach it up, find our way back to mountain pose. So that's our sun salutation A. And also, again, with that arm variation, we can come into that as we're working through this watery flow.